Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me today. If it's your first time here, my name's Peter and I make videos about Thailand. Okay, so today's story has been passed on to me by a guy called Adam. He's 60 years of age, he lives in the UK, and it's another love story between a Thai bar girl and a English guy. So a little bit of background on both of them as usual, just so you know how they came to be. Adam, as I say, he's 60. He's doing pretty good. He's semi-retired, but he still works, but he's self-employed and he makes pretty good money. He's also got the flexibility to go to Thailand whenever he wants to go. The lady's name, we're going to be calling her Kulap. She's 37 years of age and she comes from a town called Udong Ratchathani. So what's different about this story is normally a lot of my stories go back years and years from my days in Bangkok. And what's different about this one is that this is a very recent story. It started off in June of last year and it goes all the way up until the recent lockdown in Pattaya. It took place in Pattaya, the story. So it's very, very recent, and I've had a few conversations with Adam about this story. All I've done is change names, but everything else is pretty much as is told to me. Okay, so we'll start the story. Adam's on a flight. He's on his way to Pattaya. This is in June, and he arrives in Pattaya, usual hotel where he goes lots and lots of times. He's been going for years, plenty of experience with Thailand, and he normally stays in the same hotel. He knows lots of people in Pattaya, the Thais. He's a familiar face in all the bars when he gets there because he's been so many times. And there's one bar in particular he likes to go to earlier in the evening. It's located in Soi Diana. And the lady who runs the bar, she's Thai, she's a little bit older, but she's quite good friends with Adam. And normally when he gets to Pattaya, the first bar he'll hit is her bar. It's just familiar surroundings. The lady who runs the bar, her husband's a policeman, but apparently he's a real nice guy. And Adam has had drinks with him lots of times in the past and they've had, some good nights. The lady who ran the bar, she also had a niece, quite an attractive girl. And Adam asked after her. There was no past relationship with a niece or anything like that. It was purely on a friendly basis. The lady who ran the bar, she said that her niece, was now working in another bar, but in a different location. She was working in a area called Tree Town in Pattaya. That's kind of a cluster of bars with you can eat and drink, and it's quite a chilled out place to go. I can't remember the name of the niece, and Adam didn't tell me, but this niece was working in a bar in Tree Town. So Adam finished up his drink and he said to the lady that he's going to go down and visit her niece and just to say hello because she'd be sort of offended if he didn't. Heads down to Tree Town. He's got the general location of the bar and the name where she works. Approaching the bar, he doesn't have to go into the bar. She comes running out, throws her arms around him. It's all, kisses and welcome, hugs, and brings him in, drags him into the bar, gets him his drink, and it's drinks all round. So she explains, after their initial hello, she explains, look, it's a bit busy here tonight. I'm entertaining some guests. What I'll do, I'll introduce you to one of my friends. She'll look after you and I'll speak to you a little bit later or tomorrow. Yep, fine, no problem. Introduces her to a friend. Her friend's name is Kulap, which means, translation of Kulap is something like rose flower. So Kulap, as we said earlier, is 37 years of age, comes from Udong Ratchathani, and she starts to develop a conversation with Adam. What she basically tells Adam is she's just, normal story, she's just been working in the bar for a week, and Adam takes that with a pinch of salt, but he doesn't say anything, he's too polite. And she goes on to tell Adam that she's got 4 children back home in Udong Ratchathani, and she's quite honest with everything. I don't think she was quite honest about the 1 week of working in a bar though. Anyway, they start to drink together. They start telling each other bits and pieces about their lives, and they're having fun. They're playing these games, these Connect 4 and the wooden brick games that they play. And he has quite a pleasant evening. But it's Adam's first night, so he's feeling a bit jet lagged, and he apologises to Kulap. He says, look, if you like, I'll come back tomorrow and we'll meet up, but I've got to get some sleep. I'm tired. I've just arrived and, I'm jet lagged. Yep, no problem. To anybody who's not from the UK, it's a 12-hour flight if you go direct. It takes me normally about 18 hours door to door, so it's very tiring. So Adam goes back to his hotel, has a good night's rest, spends the day as you normally do in Pattaya, in low gear basically. Goes back to Kulap's bar in the evening, meets up with her again, has another very, very enjoyable evening, and Kulap explains to him that she doesn't really like working in the bar. She doesn't like the bar environment. She goes on to tell him that she never ever goes out with customers. She just survives on drinks, but she doesn't like it. And she wouldn't mind learning to be a massage lady because that's better hours. She can work in the daytime and she can get a job pretty much anywhere. That's what she tells Adam. So at this point of the story, everything's going well. And Adam decides that he's going to spend most of his vacation with this lady, Kulap. He's actually enjoying her company. He decides, you know, the guy's 60 now. He doesn't want to go bar hopping, not this trip. So he stays with Kulap. Eventually, the last day of his vacation comes. He says his goodbyes and he tells Kulap, look, I'll keep in touch with you. And, you know, I'm due back at Christmas. Adam liked to spend Christmas in Pattaya. He spent about 5 weeks, late December into early January. He said, look, I'll keep in contact with you. You've got Line, Messenger, all that on your phone. I'll contact you. And then when I come over the next time, we can hook up. Yep, fine, absolutely. Kulap was delighted. Adam went back to work, but he did keep in touch with Kulap. Now, one of the things that happened, she did bring up this issue with the massage again. She did say to Adam, look, do you remember I told you about the massage I'd like to do? Well, I've done a little bit more research. This is Kulap speaking to Adam. She said, I've done a little bit more research and there is actually a course I can go on. It's a 3-week course. The cost is 20,000 baht. Now, I can't afford that right now. She didn't ask Adam for the money, but she kind of, you know, they play the game, don't they? She hinted, and Adam was one of these guys, you know, he'd been to Thailand a lot of times, so he liked the bar girls, and even though they did what they did, he tried to help where he could. So he turned around and said, he said, look, I'll tell you what, if you really want to do this massage course and you think it will get you out the bars, I'll support you with this. How much does it cost? She told him it's 20,000 baht. He sent her the 20,000. Adam sent Kulap the 20,000 baht and wished her all the best. Life goes on. Adam went back to work. Kulap did what she had to do. Kulap contacted Adam a few weeks later. She said, yep, I finished the course. It was great. The only problem is now I'm really short of cash because obviously when I was doing the course, I wasn't earning any money. I'm quite heavily in debt at the moment, actually, Adam, because my mother's been sick. This is what she told Adam. She said, my mother's been sick. She's got leukemia, so I've had to support her, pay doctors, pay out medicine. I've been on the course. I haven't been earning any money. Adam said, well, how have you been living? She said, well, basically, I've had to borrow money from a lender. I now owe them money. They're on my back. And I'm finding it a little bit more difficult to get the job in the massage parlor, a little bit more difficult than I thought it would. So I really am in debt and I really am struggling. Would you be able to help me? Adam said, look, let me have a think about it. I'll call you back tomorrow. Put the phone down, and he did have a serious think about it because, as I say, he's very experienced, and Adam didn't want to be roped in and be one of these guys who is a mug, basically. Starts off with the best of intentions and then basically loses his shirt. So he had to think about it. But then he thought, you know, 20,000 baht for the massage. I do like a company. If I help her a little bit, it's not going to make a financial impact on my lifestyle. I would like to help her. Calls Kulap. He said, okay, what would make you comfortable? How much could you, do you want a monthly allowance or do you want me to just send a one-off, whatever? She said, because they're smart guys, they know what's going on. So Kulap said to Adam, look, I tell you what, could you send me 30,000 baht a month? That way I can pay some of the debt back to the lenders, the people I lent the money from. I can continue paying the medicine. I can live on that. And, that's what I need, basically. Adam thought about it. He says, no, I'm not going to send you 30,000 baht. You don't need that much. That's far too much. I know what the expenditures are for a Thai person in Thailand. But what I will do, I'll send you 20,000 baht a month. How's that? Kulap thought about it, thanked him, but obviously she would have rather have the 30,000. But she was happy about that anyway. So Adam set up a payment system so that she would get this 20,000 baht every month. And it was only going to be several months now till Adam headed back to Pattaya for Christmas. Kept in contact with Kulap again. He was sending her the money regular, 20,000 baht a month. And he felt, one side of him felt like, well, I've heard all these stories. Am I being a mug now? Am I being silly sending this money? But on the other side of the coin, he kind of thought, well, it's at the end of the day, I can afford it. And if it does help her, then all well and good. Spoke to Kulap, and Kulap says, look, I've moved. I've gone to another bar now because I'm finding it a little bit more difficult than I thought to get this massage job, as I said. And she went on to say she was now working in a go-go bar, but she wasn't dancing. She was a hostess. Obviously, being 37 with 4 children, it's a little bit difficult to put on a bikini and dance on a stage. The body's not kind once you've had that many children. Adam said, look, I'm heading out there in a few days. I'll meet up with you. We'll discuss it. Something that's quite important in the story here as well. Kulap had actually mentioned that she had to find an apartment or a room quite quickly. She'd been living in her... She had a friend who had a foreign boyfriend, or they were kind of man and wife, or they were serious partnership. But anyway, this girlfriend of Kulap's, her boyfriend or husband was a Swiss guy, and they'd been staying in Switzerland for quite a few months, 6 months or something like that. While they were over there, they'd offered their room to Kulap because the girl came from the same town as Kulap, and you know how it works, they're all it's all integrated. So at this time, the girl was coming back with a Swiss husband, and she'd said to Kulap, look, you'll need to get out because I don't mind you staying there, but he won't want you there. And, you know, you'll need to find your own place. So Kulap said to Adam, I need to find a place quickly. And Adam said, look, I'm back there in a few days. Hang on in there. When do you need to be out? She didn't need to be out for another week or so. He said, right, well, I'm back there in a few days. Hang on in there. When I get back to Pattaya, what we'll do is we'll go and look for a room and we'll try and find something suitable. So don't worry about it. I'll be there soon. And good as his word, that's what happened. He got on a plane, got back to Pattaya. This is now December, the December that's just passed, 1919. We're into 2020 now, so I've now dated this video. And Adam met Kulap. This is December 2019, right? And so basically hooked up again, and he decided that he would help her find a room. They're not expensive rooms in Pattaya. They cater for everybody. You can pay 100,000 baht a month. You can pay 5,000 baht a month. Depends on where you live. Obviously, she's Thai. She can negotiate better to another Thai than a foreigner can. And the Thai apartments tend to be a little bit out of the tourist areas. They went looking around for. Adam decided he'd go with Kulap and look for the apartment. And that's what they did. Adam rented a small motorbike, which you can do from the beach in Pattaya. And they went round, and I think they looked at 3 or 4 apartments. Now, when I say apartments, you're talking a room with a ensuite kind of shower room. It just has a shower basin and a toilet, small balcony, and that's pretty much what the rooms have. But they're adequate because food's cheap on the street. It's cheaper to actually go down and eat sometimes than it is to cook yourself. Eventually, they settled on a room off the second road. As you go along the second road, there's a lot of sois, Thai streets. They're very, very long. They go right up to the main road. And they found a room in a kind of Thai complex. Adam wasn't going to stay there. He's got his regular Thai hotel. But he helped her with a deposit. I think the room was about 6,000 baht. He paid the deposit, and I think they wanted 2 months upfront rent. He paid that as well. I know what you guys are going to be thinking now with all these payments, but hang on in there. And she was happy. She got the room. And this is still his first night back now in December. They've done all this on the first day after the night he's come back. Kulap didn't stay with him on the first night for whatever reason. But on the second day he was there, they found this apartment. And once the apartment was signed, done and dusted, the girlfriend of Kulap wasn't coming back for a couple of days. So there was no rush. So what Kulap decided to do was go back, get changed, and she would meet Adam for a meal and then drinks and take it from there. And that's what they did. So a little bit later on in the evening, Adam arranged to meet Kulap in a regular bar. They met up together, had quite a nice meal down on the beach, the beachfront restaurants, had a nice meal, went out for drinks, went back to Adam's hotel room. It wasn't late. It was about midnight. And they spent a very pleasant evening together, all night, let's put it that way. In the morning, something quite strange happened. Kulap got dressed, said her goodbyes, but instead of just leaving, she asked Adam for money. And he said, well, what do you need money for? I've paid for everything last night. She said, well, I stayed the night with you last night. You have to pay. This really, really pissed Adam off big time. He said to her, hang on a minute. He said, I've been sending you 20,000 baht a month. I've given you the deposit for the for the room, you know, all this, doesn't that count for anything? And he was really annoyed. So she said, well, you still have to pay me for last night. He said, I'm not paying you nothing. She goes off in a huff. She's muttering something about, you know, being ripped off. And at this point, the lights go on. He smells the coffee, as you say. He thought, right, that's it. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna have anything to do with her. She's taking me for a ride. I'm going to cancel this 20,000 baht a month. I'm not going to pay her any more money. I'm not going to meet her. And that was it. 3 or 4 days go by and Adam's phone rings. It's Kulap. Why haven't you called me? Why do you think I haven't called you? So time's a good healer, isn't it? You know, you don't forget, but things don't seem so important. So Adam agreed to meet Kulap. They decided they were going to meet in a bar, and they were going to meet at 8:30 in a regular bar that they go to. I'll meet you at 8:30. It was all agreed. Adam got there a few minutes early. 8:30 comes, no Kulap. 9 p.m. comes, no Kulap. Calls up Kulap, gets on the end of the phone. She said, I'll meet you at 11:30. Adam's amazed. He says, why 11:30? You know, we've agreed to meet at 8:30. Why 11:30? So what Adam puts it to her, he says, look, you've got somebody else. You must have somebody else who is so important that you're going to stand me after everything I've done for you, the money for the massage, the 20,000 budget every month, the deposit for the room. Why on earth would you not meet me when we'd agreed to meet at 8:30? You're going to leave it to 11:30. You've got to have somebody else who's looking after you. That's the only reason you're trying to split your time between him and me. She went quiet. She didn't say anything. The penny dropped. Adam just turned around and said, look, just by your silence, I know there's somebody else. He said, forget it. He hung up. It was a mixture of emotions for Adam. He was kind of pissed off. That was his first thought. But he was hurt. He was very hurt. You know, he knows the score. He knows what it's all about. He's not naive. He's not stupid. He knows what these girls are all about. But on this occasion, he just decided to help her. He thought she was a pretty nice girl. You know, she wasn't a teenager. She wasn't young. She was a mature woman. And he really thought that she'd appreciate, you know, what Adam had done. And he was really fed up now. And he really decided not to have anything to do with her now. And he thought, right, well, I'm gonna make the most of my night down here, and tonight rather, I'm gonna go bar hopping. And that's what he did. And he was still thinking about Kulap, but he decided he wasn't going to see her. The phone went and Kulap called him and said, look, I'm really sorry about it. She gave a sob story and made all her excuses and everything, and said, look, I tell you what, let's meet up tonight. It's Christmas Eve. Let's make the best of a good night. And, you know, I don't want you to be sad. That's basically what Kulap said to Adam. Adam thought to himself, he thought, well, it's Christmas Eve, you know, I'm not going to take it too serious now, but I might as well meet her and, you know, make the best of it, as it were. He still enjoyed her company, but now he was thinking in a different way. He was just thinking, okay, so she's just company, that's it, she's a bar girl. And he arranged to meet her at 10 p.m. in a bar, Christmas Eve now, guys, so it's quite an important night for Adam. 10 o'clock comes and goes, and no Kulap. 11 o'clock, no Kulap. 11:30, 11:45, she rings him again. She said, I was busy, I'll come and meet you now. His short answer to Kulap was, no, I don't want to see you. Turned off his phone, and he made the best of his Christmas Eve, went down to Walking Street, joined in the, you know, the parties and everything, but it wasn't the same. You know, guys, when you're out and about and you try and forget something, he was hurt more than anything else because he'd done so much for Kulap, financially this was, and as I said earlier, he's not stupid, but he did feel very, very hurt. And as much as he tried to enjoy himself, he couldn't get this niggling thought out the back of his mind about what had happened. But the evening eventually came to an end. He went back to his hotel and had a good night's rest. Next morning, it's Christmas Day. Christmas Day in Pattaya. The sun always shines in Pattaya, most days anyway. He decides to have a nice, relaxing day by the swimming pool. He hasn't seen Kulap now. He's told us straight last night, I don't want to see anymore. Hung up. That was it. Goes down to the swimming pool, orders himself a drink. He's relaxing. He's reading a book. Life couldn't be any better. He looks up and there's a young lady trotting towards him. Who is it? It's Kulap. He can't believe it. He said to her, what are you doing here? She said, well, I was going to come up to your room. I feel bad about last night. And, you know, you're taking it too seriously, actually, Adam. It was just something happened. I couldn't make it. I called you. You ignored me. We could have had a nice night if you'd forgot about it. I just think you're taking it too serious. But Adam, he says, no, you're taking it in a way that I just don't agree with you. That's it. Kulap comes out with something really unusual. She says, look, I'm going to my village tomorrow. Do you want to come with me? It's a 10-hour drive. I'll pick you up at 3 o'clock in the morning if you want to come. Adam's amazed. He says, have you got a car? She says, yes. She'd never mentioned this before. And he's just confused, but he thinks about it. He thinks, well, it'll be a nice experience. It's, going up to a Thai town village, see what it's really the real sort of Thai lifestyle's like. So he said, yeah, that'll be great. He said, but I'm not going to stay in your family home. I'll book a small hotel nearby. And something that Kulap had told Adam previously was that her father was he was in a temple, a monk in a temple. So that was quite close by to her home. So Adam said, yeah, that's fine. What time do you want me to be ready then? Kulap said, I'll pick you up at 3 a.m. As I say, it's a 10-hour drive and you need to be ready. Just wait for me at the front door. And good as his word, went to bed early, got up. He was waiting at 3 a.m. out when all of a sudden out of the blue, a nearly brand new white Mazda pickup truck turns up, and he's just amazed. He gets in, he said, how can you afford this? Vehicles are very expensive in Thailand. She kind of fobs it off and says, don't worry about it. I'm paying by finance. It isn't very much each month, and I need a car to get home to see the kids. He's amazed, but he tries to put it out of his mind. It's a 10-hour journey. They head off. They stop for fuel and food all along the way, and of course Adam ends up paying for all of that. They get up to Kulap's town, village, whatever you want to call it, and meets her 4 children. Their English is limited, but he enjoys his experience. It's quite a nice experience. It's now, and also Kulap also took Adam to meet her father in the temple, which was also quite a nice experience. So he spent a few days in a village. He helped patch up one of the family home because his background was in the building trade, and he had a good time. And like I say, he stayed in a small hotel, so he had the best of both worlds. He had bit of Western food and air conditioning at night. He didn't really want to spend the night in a shack, as it were. But he enjoyed his time. This was now January the 9th. He had to get back because his flight was for the 10th of January. So they drive back down to Bangkok. Kulap drives him down, picks up the rest of his gear and off to Bangkok, and he catches his flight okay, heads back to the UK, and he thinks about this last trip with Kulap. And although he enjoyed her company, although she was a nice girl, he had to think it out, and he decided, okay, well, she's really just a bar girl. She's used me up to a point, but I did enjoy her company. I didn't lose too much money, so no real harm done. Whether he wanted to meet up with her again, it was doubtful. He would be going back to Pattaya again in sort of 3 or 4 months. But he analysed the whole situation, and being quite he was, like I keep saying, he wasn't stupid. He just decided, okay, it was another Thailand experience, but I probably won't hook up with her again. Kulap, on the other hand, they're clever guys, as I say. They know to latch on to something good. When there's a revenue to be had, they'll latch onto it. And Kulap, after about a month of Adam being back in the UK, Kulap sends a photograph, a selfie to Adam, and she's in a hospital bed. Adam thinks this is quite strange, tries to get hold of Kulap. A lot of times he's actually quite worried, because although all this has happened and she's kind of, not ripped him off, but she wasn't totally honest with him, really, was she? But, he didn't hold any sort of bad feelings towards Kulap. That's what they do. But he was quite concerned about this picture of her in a hospital bed. At the end of the day, she was now a very, very good friend, and he was worried. He was worried about her. He couldn't get hold of her. Eventually, a week goes by, and out the blue, the phone goes, and it's Kulap. And he says, "Why were you in hospital?" She holds up a scan, a hospital scan to the phone, and it's a picture of a fetus in a womb, a baby. And Adam looks at it, and he says, "Oh, very nice. Whose is it? Who's the proud parent?" sort of thing. She turns around, she said, "It's mine." And he said, "Oh, who's the father?" She said, "You are." And he said, "No, I'm not. I had an operation 20 years ago. I can't have children." Obviously, that's a bit of a loss of face for Kulap. She's embarrassed. She doesn't know what to say. She can't get out of this one. She puts the phone down. That's the end of it. And that's basically the end of the story. The only good thing to come out of this was it did actually put Adam in a situation where he now wasn't going to get tempted. Now, remember where I left it before this hospital bit. He could have gone back to Pattaya. He could have met Kulap again. As I said, time's a healer, and she could have pulled on the heartstrings and it could have started all over again. But definitely she'd fallen pregnant by somebody else. It was either her, another guy who was taking care of her, but more than likely it was probably a Thai boyfriend or a Thai husband. That's very, very normal. Okay, guys, that's it for this story. A big thank you for Adam for sharing it, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next video.